Hello, this is Paul from Play Magazine.
And this is Luke.
And Luke, you have been playing the Uncharted 4 multiplayer beta.
That I have.
So, how was it?
It's pretty good, actually. I never really got on with Uncharted's multiplayer particularly. I thought Naughty Dog did a great job of turning that around for me with The Last of Us, which was
much better.
Which was much tighter. And it's really good to see that they've kind of pulled a lot of elements from The Last of Us's multiplayer suite into Uncharted. So you've got things like the in-match purchasing of new weapons and items and perks and stuff like that, as well as the down state. So you don't get killed automatically. You go into a prone down state and you can crawl around and get revived. You've got about probably 8 to 10 seconds of that, but enemies can move in to try and finish you off, but your mates can get you up, so it creates a really interesting dynamic.
It's good to see that stuff in there, because like you say, I think Last of Us multiplayer was far better. I mean, it's obviously seems to have its own feel as well in terms of the sort of speed of it, and I've seen people like swinging about.
Yeah. I mean, it's a much more high octane thing. The Last of Us was more kind of survival geared. This is more action geared, as you'd expect from Uncharted, really. And like you say, a lot of the elements from the single player game, like the grappling hook and that kind of thing, come into play in the multiplayer as well. So it's a bit different. In the single player, you kind of you can use a grappling hook, but enemies seem oblivious to it, so they'll kind of wander around underneath something you can swing off, and you can get those cool takedowns. But in multiplayer, obviously everyone knows where these grapple points are.
Yeah, sure.
So they become much more aware of them. But again, that creates an interesting thing. Like, you'll have those will almost serve like choke points in a way. Like, people will want to use them to get those cool looking takedowns, hit the share button. But at the same time, if you do that, it's risky, because people know you're going to be coming, and they may have superpowers or guns or bombs or whatever the hell they might have ready for you.
Okay, those superpowers you just mentioned.
Yeah.
So I know there was some concern when they first showed them they might be a bit overpowered.
When they first showed them.
Is that what I said?
That's how very Freudian.
That's not what I meant to say, but yeah. Are they overpowered?
Not really. Like, there are 5 available in the beta. The one that looked the most annoying was the El Dorado one, which is basically like a placeable bomb thing, which does damage over time, but it doesn't kill you instantly, and if you're quick enough, you've got time to get away from it. All it really does is clear out a choke point. Unless you're trapped in a room in a corner or something, you'll be fine. You'll be able to get away. The heal one is useful. The Chintamani Stone, that was really cool. There's a staff one that reveals enemies on radar, which, again, it shows it up on their radar as well, so it creates a choke point. It was quite an interesting little thing to play around with. There's a slow down one, which in competitive multiplayer doesn't seem that useful, at least in Team Deathmatch rather, but I reckon that'll come into play and come into its own as well in the in objective-based modes.
Yeah.
And there was one other one as well, but I can't remember what it is. Oh, it's the teleporting one.
Oh, okay.
When it basically gets rid of your ability to use cover, but you gain a short-range teleport, so you can just dart across the battlefield. So if you like playing like melee and pure action, that's the one to go for.
Okay.
On top of those, you've got sidekicks.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask.
Yeah. Which those at the moment are OP, like as hell. Like the heavy guy takes about 4 or 5 times as shots than a normal player to put down. So you tend, in a big firefight, you tend to spend more of your time taking down AI buddies than you do taking down players, which is not really what a lot of people are going to want from a multiplayer experience, I don't think.
Definitely not.
I mean, it didn't work too bad in like Titanfall. We had the creeps running around, and then some of the other buddies do work a bit more like that. They've got lower health. They're easier to get rid of, and those are kind of fine. Their abilities don't seem that bad. It's really only the heavy that's causing problems at the moment because of how hard he is to put down.
Yeah, well, hopefully they'll tweak that then.
You'd think so. They've been reacting really quickly to stuff so far. Like, there were problems day one in terms of matchmaking. There was a patch within like 24 hours, and there have been like 3 or 4 more since then. Like, in the space of a week, they're on point with this.
Okay, cool. Well, I guess the final thing to ask is there anything you think we can glean about the single player from it, either in like the quality of the shooting or whatever?
The shooting's still tight. Like, I think they're intentionally being very cautious of what they show. Like, the 2 levels in the beta are from the jungle thing from the first reveal and from the Madagascar scene from E3.
Right.
So they're intentionally keeping that kind of quiet. There's nothing really you can tell from the characters they've included there, because they've intentionally made it kind of a greatest hits of Uncharted series heroes and villains that you can play as.
Yeah.
But visually, like for a multiplayer thing, they've toned it down to 900p to get it running at 60 FPS for the multiplayer.
Mm-hmm.
And it still looks really damn good. So we've seen it running, obviously, in single player. That's going to be locked at 30 rather, but it shoots up to 1080. So if it looks this good already,
yeah, sure.
I can't wait to see this game on my TV in single player. It's going to be ridiculous.
Yeah, looking good.
Aye.